lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. And welcome, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome to the spectacle, the event, the celebration that is the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm absolutely glad to be here to entertain you. Welcome, everybody. And the good news is I'm not alone tonight. I have my good friend and fellow co-host who is actually on my screen with me. I don't know how you're still on my screen, but you are.
I think your camera moved again.
It moved again. Well, I've been dorking with it. I almost said a different word. But Mr. Don Longbeard is here with me.
That's me. Happy Hump Day.
It is Hump Day's Eve. Whether or not it's Hump Day's Eve, it is here. So welcome, everybody, and hope you're having a great week. The good news is it's all downhill from here.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad.
Including this show. usually it's a downhill kind of thing.
Wow,
but we are excited to be here with you as always. We had a great time guest hosting the Bigfoot Odyssey. That was awesome.
What was it we were doing?
No, I was just looking at all the names popping up.
Yeah,
here.
I know.
It seems like they're flooding in tonight.
They are.
Which is wonderful. It's always good that everybody's flying in the door.
A little for the homies. Oh boy.
Yeah. So great to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys are ready because we're about to go in the portal. So yeah, oh wait, I got to get you on there too. I only hit myself. I'm in bedtime story mode. Excuse me. No,
you can call it whatever you want.
But right. Don and I just had a great time. We were asked to guest host with Daniela, of course, over on Bigfoot Odyssey. We had a good show with Kevin Keeney, and he is of Arizona Squatch. And we had a good discussion with him. Some of the stuff he's seen, pretty wild and crazy stuff, but amazing nonetheless.
Absolutely.
So, just making sure my phone's charging because it was about dead. I've been burning up my phone all day long, and I haven't plugged it in until right now. It's got like that one sliver of red. Like, oh God, plug me in, will you?
And sometimes mine will flash until it dies. It's like, yeah, let's go ahead and use up the rest of it. No big deal. Turn yourself on and off.
Just make sure you get a completely fresh charge on it.
Exactly.
You don't want any of that leftover stuff on there.
Thank you, Daniela. You're very welcome.
It was our pleasure. It was a lot of fun, and thank you so much for driving the SS Odyssey because it's hard enough to drive this one. I wouldn't want to learn a whole new set of controls.
No doubt.
That worked out really well.
Hey, you know what I found out today?
Oh.
I finally found out two things. I found out you pronounce it Mogion.
Yes, and we found out what that means.
Yes, and what a Mogion monster is.
Is Mogion in here? Yes,
he
is.
He is.
So today, how old were you when you learned that Mogion monster was actually another word for Bigfoot?
I was today old.
We've been wondering what the hell Mogion means forever since, of course, our good friend Mr. Mogion has been a part of the show. But today we learned because Arizona Squatch, of course, is down there in that area.
Yes.
And that's where he researches, and he's the one that told us that a Mogollon monster is actually another name for Bigfoot.
See, it's not just me that didn't know what it was.
Hey, there's so much in these fields anymore that nobody can know it all. But I think we know quite a bit. At least I believe I do. At least that's the story I'm going to give you all. I know enough to host a show. That's about it. Push play. Okay. Turn on the microphone. Okay.
Give Don his microphone.
Mute Don. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah,
my goodness.
But
wow.
But we had a good time, and we learned that today. So that's a new name that I had never heard before. I have obviously heard it because, of course, Mogollon is in our chat room all the time. Wonderful guy and a contributor to the show as well. So,
yes.
But now we actually know what that means. So,
and apparently he's very near that area as well. So,
I wonder if you guys could hook up. You and Kevin could hook up. I don't know if Mog, if you ever do any investigating or not, but Kevin's out there, and he seemed to have seen some pretty amazing stuff. But anyway, it was a good show, a good time, and we are here tonight, of course, bringing you our Wednesday edition of the Paranormal Portal, full 2 hours of paranormal fun.
Woohoo!
Just waiting here in this buffet of love.
Waiting to be unleashed.
So, Don, how are you, first of all?
You know what? I'm great. As a matter of fact, right before I came today, we set up like 5 gallons of sauerkraut. Oh, my God. You should have saw this head of cabbage. It was like 20 pounds. It was literally 20 pounds. And it was 33 cents a pound. Was
that the one you had growing near the reactor, Don?
it's the one that fell in the river on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But and then the plum wine was perking away. It sounded like a coffee pot. Actually, it was like.
Ooh.
I was like, oh.
It's gonna be a whole lot of fun.
Oh gosh.
In the long beard.
Well, I have to be able to stay warm this winter. It's one way to do it.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's I'm sure delicious, and maybe you'll have to bring some to the show.
We might. I don't know. It might. Well, I might be able to bring a bottle for a show that might be planning for later. Which is all of them.
Why are you so vague? Some kind of celebratory show that we might be planning? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you never know. That's always a possibility. I'm sorry, my cat was deciding.
Weird Desk US, nice fermenting skills. Yes. The thing is, though, is all sauerkraut is a lot of cabbage stuffed into a bucket covered in salt water.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and then you got to skim the crap off it every once in a while, which is always fun. That's just a whole bunch of love there in a. What did you use the buckets?
Oh yeah,
literally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mom makes sauerkraut homemade as well, and she always used the buckets, the big 5-gallon food buckets. Yep.
Well, the plum wine's in a 10-gallon fermenter.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Mr. Newbies.
Do you know why it's called a fifth? Because there's 5 of them in a gallon.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, thank you, Weird Desk. But you still did it.
What?
Oh, she's just giving me props for.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we got a whole bunch of paranormal fun lined up for you guys tonight, and we're lining up as we go, which is not unusual for this show. We don't always have a plan, but we always plan to have a show, but we don't always have a plan for our show, and that would be tonight. But I'm going over to the hot sheet right now, and I've got Don's favorite subject popping up here. Apparently there was a creepy clown caught on camera by Arkansas teens.
Too bad they didn't run him over.
That might be justifiable homicide. I don't know.
I think it should be.
Some of those, you ever see those videos on YouTube, Donna, with those clowns that are like...
Why is your cat playing with my butt?
Jesus.
I was like, what the hell was that?
Do you need a safe space or something?
That space is a safe space, but for me...
Well, apparently, I'm not going to make excuses for my cat. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, Don. You rubbed tuna on your butt before you came in here, or what?
Whoa.
I don't even know what to say.
I was about to reference Uncle Larry, but I won't do that.
No, God. Oh no! Everybody has that friend that sends them sends them things that are just defy imagination.
that are unseeable.
Yeah, we've got our friend Larry who sends us stuff
God love Larry. Oh,
he sends stuff that I don't know. I didn't even know was possible, most of it, but I'm learning every time I get a new video from him.
wow.
So. But yeah, Don, there's apparently clowns hanging out in Arkansas. Now I thought that thing was kind of dead. That whole trend of people.
Well, they should be Arkansided.
Well, this is what happened. Let me just read. And again, I'm reading from the singularfortean.com. Again, one of my favorite sites for these Wednesday shows and Saturday shows because they just always have great stuff. I really love what they have. But it says, Braden Ledford, 18, of Russellville, Arkansas, told local news outlet Fox 16 that he and a friend were on their way to Pottsville Lake.
Pottsville
Lake. Yeah. All right. That's what I get for staring at screens and fonts all day.
It's been a long day for you.
But Pottsville Lake at around 9:30 p.m. on September 23rd to talk when they spotted a creepy clown wielding a shovel on the side of the road. I witnessed a clown, said Ledford, and me and my friend were going down to Pottsville Lake, and we were just going to talk about some things because it's a place to get away. And pulled up down that road, and there was a clown just sitting there. Ledford captured the clown on video, which is posted to social media site TikTok. I don't know. Can we show TikToks? I don't know how that works. I don't know.
Oh hell! What's the worst that can happen?
Well, they could demonetize this show, give us a copyright claim. But what the hell? We'll put it up here because I'm curious now, and I have not seen this. So we're gonna check out this TikTok video, ladies and gentlemen. You are going to be co-conspirators.
You're all in.
You're all in on it. So if I'm guilty, you're all guilty.
That's right.
If you have any reservations about showing potentially copyrighted material, please turn away now. All right. So here we go. I don't think TikTok is the same.
I don't think so.
No. All right. Here it goes.
Is that a clown?
Dude.
What do we do?
Oh my God, dude.
What do we do?
Dude.
I don't know if there's cussing or anything.
Scary.
Yes.
Dude, no.
Yes,
don't open
yes.
the sun. Bro.
Hey, jackass! You're gonna get shot! You're gonna get shot! Oh my God, dude!
Holy
Okay, they beeped it.
Go.
Holy shit.
Holy stuff. I should probably mute that. Sorry about the language, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of the risks of showing stuff like this. But yeah. So I'm assuming there was no car hanging around there where this clown could have been. It's just like this person dressed up like a clown on some old dirt road somewhere. That's disturbing as hell.
Hey, jackass.
What?
That's what he said. He said, "Hey, jackass."
I know. Hey, you're gonna get shot. And that's a good point. I mean, if you feel threatened, in many states, if somebody's showing really aggressive behavior and you fear for your life, I mean,
he had a shovel. One, he can clock you in the head with it, and two, bury you with the same item.
That's yeah.
Tell me how I wasn't afraid for my life.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was going to kill me and get rid of my body at the same time. But yeah, it's really
shallow grave.
Really creepy stuff. I don't know why people would do this unless they've, I know there used to be kind of a trend, but I think enough people got hurt dressing up like clowns that it kind of quit being a trend. But
yeah.
So I don't know. This person might just be genuinely disturbed, or maybe it's just a hoax. Maybe it's all staged.
I love our chat.
Why? What are they?
They're all on my side.
What?
They're all on my side. They don't like clowns for the most part. I see cars running over clown heads and a couple revolvers.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, right on.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys.
Other than, I mean, you got to be pretty stupid to dress up like a clown and carry a shovel and try to terrorize people
in the dark.
In the middle of nowhere. So that's just creepy. That's just all kinds of wrong. And if somebody does get hurt doing that, they kind of got it coming.
It's their fault. Yeah.
I mean, you got to be a whole new kind of stupid to get up in that kind of outfit and expect that somebody's not going to hurt you eventually, So But it says in the video, the teens are heard warning the clown that he's going to get shot before backing up and fleeing as he begins to approach them, dragging the shovel.
That's kind of creepy too.
Yeah, well, that is. Yeah, I mean, he should at least carry it nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna hurt you.
He's so lazy, he's just dragging it. But people were like, oh no, this trend is coming back, because it used to be a trend back then. And I think people take it as a joke, and then they just go get a clown costume and wear it outside. Ledford said of the trend over the last few years of people dressing up as scary clowns. And I don't think people should do that, because like it's really deadly, because people can get shot. Well, there you go. Fresh from the mouth of these teens. See, it could be a joke, but like it could come to an extent like a shovel and digging into the ground. Somebody could drive by and think that's the wrong thing.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are afraid of clowns, and that's why this thing should not be a joke, he added. Ledford did not report his encounter to the police because he said he was able to drive off and was unharmed. A series of creepy clown sightings have been reported across the United States over the last few years, although phantom clowns, as noted by Fortean researcher Lauren Coleman, have been reported since the 1980s. Authorities were asking citizens not to call them to report these sightings, since simply wearing a clown costume is not against the law.
However, swinging a shovel.
Yeah, well, that's just a whole lot of bad decision making right there. If that's your defense, I was just wearing a clown costume. I was dragging a shovel and going to get a ride.
Oh, I love our chat room.
Yeah, well, we have the greatest chat room ever anyway, but what am I missing? What's going on?
Well, no, they've just been making funny jokes, you know. There was a meme I saw a while ago, and it was a picture of Hannibal, and it's looking at a clown. He says, "Do you know why I don't eat clowns?
Yeah.
Because they're funny tasting. They all taste like grease paint."
L says, I'm clown intolerant. Who's all here, by the way, Don?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, let's get to that.
We got quite a bunch of people here, so we might as well.
Yeah, do
give
some shout out.
Absolutely.
So we've got 5 Hazel, Art is Life, Bigfoot Germany. What? Art is Life.
Wes says, I thought clowns were supposed to be funny and sell Big Macs.
Well, then you better get selling them Big Macs.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Bigfoot in Germany, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, Bigfoot Odyssey Mr. Carey, Black Tree Duke Sullivan, Cameron and Cha-Cha. Deborah's here. Deborah said she might not make it all the way through. She needs to go to go get some sleep. I understand that. Chris Gordon just popped in. Elaine, LM, Elisa. Lisa's here. Lewis is here. Matthew Learned. I just learned how to say it, and I'm going to trip over it. Magion Monster. Philip Blair. Rick, a.k.a. Purple Hobbit. The Real Dill is here. And there's Mr. West right there. Sasquatch Chronicles. We've got Suzanne, the Weird Desk US, Treva, and, of course, me. That's me. Awesome. Nice. I believe Paisley was here. Did I miss Black Tree? I think I did miss Black Tree. Gosh, there's so many people here. It's awesome. It's just awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of people. Sorry, I got to check something.
Sure.
I got to check something.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. He said he had something he wanted to share.
Oh, good. Okay. Let's see.
So Chris Gordon says, I found this channel through Lurkel's podcast. Tony Lurkel.
Oh, we love Tony. He's a good guy.
He is. Wow. So I'll take 2 Clowny McBurgers to go. You guys are great. I love you. Let's see. Did I have anything? Did I save anything in my Facebook this week? Let's see here. Anything odd?
Okay, I gotta find this now on the desktop. I'm looking at what Duke sent over. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I see this thing from... oh, no, it's a video. Nope, screw that. Okay, so... Oh, I guess a witness to the Travis Walton abduction has come out finally and said something. Maybe I'm late on it too, though. But unfortunately, it's a friggin' video again. I need to look at these videos and write it out.
It's just putting you on the spot. I don't know
know.
where the hell this. Oh, there's the picture. For God's sakes,
What?
look where it ended up.
Oh, nice job.
I don't know why I did that. I just got this all set up. I got to drag it all back around the room.
He added two screens to his computer. Now he's got 4 screens and he's losing everything.
I know everything's popping all over the place. Now I lost our video. There it is. Yeah, it's back. All right, so I got that back. Let me blow this up here.
Are you set there?
I don't know yet. I'm just looking at what we're seeing here. Did he provide a story? Did Duke provide?
I don't know. I think. How about? Is there a story with this picture, Duke? Is that what's going on?
I got a MCAT's on the phone.
Oh,
Let's get to the phone call first.
Let's get him filling the air.
but Duke, if you call in and let me know what we're looking at here, that'd be cool. I'm just first glances. Looks like a beautiful scene, but I don't know what I'm looking for. Okay, so MCAT,
Tales from the Trails.
Tales from the Trails. You're on the air, sir.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, how you doing, brother? I'm sorry I had to turn you up there.
That's okay. I'm doing all right, man. How are you guys?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here most of the time, but other than that, I'm doing good. Where are you at now?
South Carolina,
Oh,
or as they say it down here, South Carolina.
Oh, nice imitation. That was good. Deb's in North Carolina, so you got the Carolinas kind of covered here on the show today. That's good. How's things down there? What's going on? What's on your mind tonight?
Just a couple of things real quick. I had a high school friend of mine pass earlier this week.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. I don't want to get into that, but
No, I hear you.
I saw him afterward in the passenger seat of the truck.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Just
wow.
happened to glance to the right, and there he was.
No kidding.
And he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, okay, good, all right." Just gonna keep driving here.
And that was the extent of the conversation?
Yeah, that's all he said.
That is really cool. All right. I just got to let Duke know. Let Duke know.
I just did. Yep.
I got it. I got the second picture now. I understand what we're looking at. Okay. But no, man, that's very powerful. That's very powerful. Was it like a full solid looking apparition, or was it wispy or translucent, or what were you seeing?
No, it was him.
Oh wow!
Wow, that is so powerful. Huh. And how long did this last?
And then just a few seconds for me to turn my eyes back onto the road and then turn back, and then he was gone.
Right.
Oh, amazing.
Just saying. Just reminding you he's there. Yep.
Yeah, that was it. Which is, that's good. The other thing is, I went through some of the full spectrum pictures that I took on the night of that investigation, and I zoomed in the last two, and it looks like there's a set of eyes there.
Oh, wow.
And there are two shots that are about a minute apart, and they're in about the same location in both shots.
The eyes are in both shots?
Yeah, they're in both shots in about the same location.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
I didn't see anything on thermal, but it looks like a pair of eyes. And I've got it up on my YouTube page.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's pretty wicked. That something I don't know, but it looks like something was watching us.
Now, the Weird Desk in the chat I think this is in regards to your friend appearing next to you. I had a question. How did that make you feel when you saw that?
Startled.
Yeah.
And then okay, and then in and good.
Yeah.
I knew what it was and what he was doing.
Now that to me is just so amazing and powerful and healing, and I don't know. To me, it really seems to cut a lot of the pain out of the situation, because he's fine. He's good. He's doing his thing, and I think those visits are so powerful when they come up.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
And regarding those eyes, now what do you think? It was a ghostly presence, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
Okay.
There wasn't anything on thermal. I didn't see anything on thermal all night, so I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. Wow.
Whether it be a spirit or be something else, or I have no idea.
That's intense. But it's clearly eyes. And by eyes, do you mean like it looks like a person's eyes, or are you seeing eyes shine, or how is that represented in the photo?
It's too. You can definitely see it. It's not hard to see. It's two bright dots.
Wow.
And they're at the edge of the cemetery.
Jeez.
So they're quite a ways back.
So now on our podcast recently, we did one on skinwalkers, and one of the things that came up in our research for the show was, and that we shared on the show, was that skinwalkers are believed to hang around cemeteries because they like to get like bone dust and pieces of dead bodies to apparently insert into people, and it will be lethal over a period of time. And in one of the stories, a woman had an encounter with one, and she called a medicine man over, and he sealed her house and got it to leave her alone. But he then pulled out like a 2-inch bone spike from her shoulder.
Right.
And it was witnessed by 2 other people, saw him removing this from her shoulder. And it was a human bone.
No, was that the one? That wasn't the one where they saw the dog standing up on his hind legs saying "arf, arf, arf,
Yes.
woof, woof, woof" at the window.
That's the same one. At the tail end of that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they pulled like a 2-inch bone out of her shoulder. The medicine man did. Yeah. And I'd never, ever heard of that before. But then when you talk about 2 eyes, what if it was a skinwalker,
Oh, I hope not.
I know, but it's just what occurred to me. Now, on YouTube a while ago, and granted, it's a YouTube video, so you don't know that there's any credibility to it or not. But I remember these people were driving through a cemetery, and they had like a cell phone camera, and they saw this weird figure next to what I imagine was the groundskeeper's shack in the cemetery, and this it looked like a haggard, like really scrawny woman with just stringy hair, and she was digging frantically into the ground, just kicking up dirt and stuff. And they ended up calling the police and getting the hell out of there. And then when the police came, they found no evidence of anyone having been there except for that hole in the ground, like it was digging down looking for something. And after we read that story on the air, I thought back to that and went, "Oh my God, did they record a skinwalker digging up a grave?"
Right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, how horrible is that?
Oh, my God.
Right? Very, very, very weird. Wow. But, man, brother, be careful.
Yeah, no doubt.
Be careful.
Definitely. My goodness. Wow.
Yeah, very, very crazy stuff out there for sure. But I really appreciate you calling in and sharing your stories, man. It's always a pleasure. It's always a great pleasure to hear from you.
Yeah, you betcha, man. You guys be careful. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Drive safely. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Okay, we'll see you.
All right, bye.
So there you have it, Mr. MCAT. Now, I do have the pictures that Duke sent, and I'm here to tell you what you're about to see. Now, the original picture, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, but then when I saw the other picture he sent, I remembered he shared this with me the other day. And what you're about to see, to me, it just makes me just pucker. I'm just telling you, it's so disturbing. But I'm going to get it all queued up here. So, whoops, wrong way.
Wrong show.
Wrong show, yeah. I thought it should be right here. Let me.
Well, that's one of them, right?
It is. It is one of them. But where's the other one? Maybe I have to reopen it. Hold on. It might take out the back screen again, but I'll do it anyway. Because I named it similarly. Oh no, it opened in the right spot. Good. Okay, now let me see if I can get the second picture here. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Oh!
Yeah. Shh. Don't say anything, Don. Don't let it out yet. Don's gasping. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the picture that Duke shared with us, and it's absolutely terrifying to me. And what we're looking at here is these strange eyes up here in the tree. Now, this gentleman here, as Duke described it to me the other night in the chat, is allegedly 6 feet tall. And when you look at him next to the truck, that makes about sense. That looks like it's pretty appropriate scale. And then you look up here, and this is what you see. Now, here's the fence line and stuff. When we go, this is the daytime shot of that same area. And so what we're looking at was something.
There's nothing even there.
Well, this is a daytime shot.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a blank spot.
Right. Now, that couldn't even be an owl. That couldn't even be an owl because the look at the spacing on those two, I don't know, eye shines. I mean, it's even shaped like eyes. So it's not like it's really hard to see that it, but there is something standing there that is absolutely enormous. If he's 6 feet, then this is in the 12-foot range, and that is absolutely terrifying. Excuse me, but again, let's see. Let's go back to the other one, the other image. I gotta minimize it again. So that's
Kate says, I definitely see a beard.
It's Don. It's Don out there lurking.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's right. It's the beard of
I don't even know where that picture was taken, but I must have been there. Oh, now I get it. Somebody said something about Don bilocating. Now I understand.
Yeah, there's lots of, there's a lot of religions that believe that there's power in hair. So Don must be a wizard.
Oh wow, are you a wizard?
Don's like our Don Boldor. Thank you very much. I'm here all night.
Oh my God.
But here's the daytime. Here's the daytime shot again, and we'll zoom into that same area. It's real easy to see that it's the same area here, and there's
nothing there.
There's nothing there. I mean, it's not, unless some idiot put two reflecting discs up there that are shaped like eyeballs. But I'm betting they probably didn't waste their time. That's just that's incredibly creepy.
Yeah, where was this taken at? Do we?
You'll have to ask Duke that. I don't remember if he shared that with me. I don't remember.
Wow.
But yeah, and so, ladies and gentlemen, again, to go forward here to this image, whatever's going on here, there's the truck. Here's the gentleman that is 6 feet tall, and here is the potential eye shine of these enormous freaking eyes. That is.
Looks like it has a cone head too.
It kind of does. I don't, it's hard to know.
Yeah, that might just be that.
It might just be some
foliage,
branches back there. It's hard to know, but if we get really deep into it here.
Oh, Duke's on the phone.
Duke's on the phone. Oh, this will make it a lot easier. Welcome, Mr. Duke, to the show. Thank you so much for sending in these pictures, brother. This is absolutely terrifying.
I got more, but those are the only two I have permission to share right now.
Sure.
Wow.
Those are taken on a multi-game cam. 10:09 at night is when the dark one was taken. Midday for the other one, just for the comparison shot.
Right.
There's actually several pictures in that sequence. He saw something dart through the hole in the fence, and he pulled his truck over to see if it left any tracks. And that's what he was out there looking for. He didn't see the thing in the woods that the game cam picked up. And he got two more pictures after he was getting back in the truck and then taking off with the truck. It snapped two more.
Oh, my
So Yeah, kind of creepy.
That's all kinds of creepy.
So it makes you wonder what the other two pictures look like.
Yeah, it really does. But I mean,
Pretty similar. It's just the next one where he's backing up the truck. It's like its head is turned and its eyes are looking at the truck, basically.
so
This is the best one of the three that really showed the eye shine and everything. You can almost see the beard and stuff.
yeah, now this and it perfectly matches up. Here's the little twig coming off the side of that tree trunk.
Right. And this is that cross. This one right here, that cross branch.
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
it's the same game cam from the same position. They've got a bunch of them in that area. I made sure they sent me a comparison from the same game cam.
Well, this is why it looks like it's got.
He's seen this thing around there before. He didn't see it when the sequence was taken, but he's actually seen it there before.
Has he?
And he says it's some tall ape-looking thing with a beard.
Has he been back in there to see if there was prints there in that where that thing was standing?
I don't know if he went in that particular time. He's got track pictures and all kinds of stuff like that too.
Wow, that is so intense. And what region was this again? I'm sorry.
It's down in the deep south. I can't tell you guys exactly where it is.
You're right. No, I just was curious what part of the world we're talking about here. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's in the U.S. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Wow. Come on, say it's over in Italy.
This is a Russian camera,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it's not even here in the mountains where you expect gigantic monstrous Bigfoot.
Wow.
That is absolutely terrifying. That is, I mean, just the size of those eyes. The eyes are about the size of his fist, I guess. If he was to put up a fist, it would be about that same size. That is freaking enormous.
Now, on this particular site, he tells me that they have Bigfoot activity there a lot. They've got a bunch of pictures of them. They showed me from the game cams and stuff. Game cams do occasionally capture them.
Sure.
But this, whatever the hell this thing is, they're not convinced that it even is a Bigfoot. It's just lurking around the same area, and they've seen it.
Well,
now they got game cam pictures of it.
I'm just, I don't know what the hell. It could be like it's giant size to me, is what I'm thinking. It's just so
whatever it is, it's at least twice human size. It's big.
Yeah. I mean, it's even more so. I mean, this is at its eye level, it's twice the size, and I don't know. Of course, we don't know if it's standing straight up, if it, or whatever. But just kind of looking at the eye spread there and trying to gauge the size of the head would have to be. I mean, you're looking at something that is so freaking big. Oh, geez. That just, literally gives me the willies. It's just one of those pictures that you can't unsee. And you can almost, when you're really zoomed in.
He was kind of extremely creeped out when he saw that sequence of shots.
So, you can...
And I said, well, you shouldn't be out there driving around, running the fence line at night then, maybe.
Wow.
So, when I'm really zoomed into the picture here, Duke, you can see that there is really a brighter spot there that would seem to indicate the pupil, but the eye shine actually seems to take up the whole sclera, iris, and everything. It's reflecting so much.
It's a white-eyed Bigfoot.
But even the shape. Yeah. The shape is very much eye-shaped.
Very almond-shaped. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
The glance he actually got of it was it was in the dark. It was in dark conditions. And he said it had eye glow.
Oh, see.
So apparently that might be what's going on with this picture.
We just when we were we were just talking to the Kevin from Arizona Squatch, and he was saying he saw green eye glow, and he said it's not eye shine. There was no other light,
it was coming from the eyes.
It was coming from the eyes, and it was green.
Right.
So that's the second time today I've heard that term, and I've never really considered it too much. But now we see, these two people talking about that same phenomena. You know what?
Well, the headlights from the truck, there would be enough illumination there for it to have eye shine.
Sure.
But he said the other time he saw it, there wasn't any lights at all going. He was out there in the dark, and he saw eye glow. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the way that, you can tell its head is cocked just a little bit to the side because, and Don just pointed out, it looks like you can see like a bit of a branch in front of part of its left eye, and the light is coming. It seems to be reflecting off of some kind of stick or branch right there. So
if you flip to the other picture, you'll notice there's a there's a sapling or a branch right there.
Let's do that, because then we would get an idea of how close it actually is to that.
Because here's that twig, and I bet you it's this right here that it's reflecting off.
Okay, let's zoom in. That is just really, really, really incredibly intense. There's that.
Yeah, like right here.
Yeah. So.
Or no, it'd probably be this one here.
Yeah, probably this thing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just freaky. Oh my God. Wow. I'm, I've been using this term a lot lately because it came up in a story, but I'm gobsmacked. I'm gobsmacked by this. It's terrifying.
Yep. That's just a very, very strange picture, and I wish I had permission to share the rest in the sequence, but I don't. We'll have to make do with. There's that picture.
Well, I'm and thank whomever the person is. I'm absolutely honored to show them on the show. I don't have an explanation for it. I wasn't there, of course, but it genuinely looks like it's not just a circle. It's not just an ambiguous circle that could be some reflective material caught in a tree or something. It has the shape of an eye, and the other eye is obscured by what I would assume would be a nose or some kind of bridge of a nose in there, and perhaps the foliage of these branches. So it's just really freaky.
That's what he's saying too. It's the this really big thing, whatever it is, does actually have eye glow.
Yeah.
And they have Bigfoot around the property, like I was saying, and they've seen them plenty of times, and they just have eye shine. If you hit them with a light, it'll shine back.
Yeah.
But this thing, whatever it is, has eye glow.
Wow. I mean, what it says to me is just don't go in the woods anymore, ever.
Stay in your house. Outdoors.
Stay where the sidewalks are.
Don't go where the sidewalks end.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting from this, Duke. So, thank you.
Well, anyway, I just thought that would be fun to show everybody those weird pictures. I get some strange pictures sent me pretty regularly, and occasionally I get permission to share one, so I thought I'd share that one with you guys.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, brother. We really appreciate it. That's truly disheartening, but I mean in a good way. I mean it is fantastic, and I'm absolutely in awe of what I'm seeing. It just when you think about the potential for things to be out there that we just have no scope of, we have no understanding at all, and these things are potentially out there. And how vulnerable are we? Well, we're incredibly vulnerable.
Crunchy with ketchup.
Yeah. Jeez. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. What I always like to think of is when the people go, I've been hunting for 20, 30, 40, you fill in the blank years, and I'd never seen a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I always like to go, well, you know what? I bet in all that time you were out there, Bigfoot saw you.
Right. Well, I'm sure if they're around, they're always aware of us. I when I hear those kind of statements too, Duke, what I hear is, people think that because they go out to a tree stand and sit somewhere in a piece of forest, that they're Davy Crockett, and they're going out to some place and sitting down. Usually, I mean, people don't usually like wander and hunt unless, there's several kind of hunting, I guess, where you do. But most people in the big game hunting, you pick a spot, you go and you sit down, and then when you get done, you go back to camp and, toss back beers and tell stories. But there's so much of the forest that you and I have talked about this many times. So much areas of forest that have probably never seen human feet, as far as the settlers on up. Not talking so much about the First Nations, but we've just never been. So
well, as far as that goes, there's areas that were taboo to the First Nations that they didn't go either.
Well, that's true.
Very
and
good.
And some of those areas today are so accessible; they've only been surveyed from air, and people still haven't gone there.
Right.
And now we know why.
That could be one of the reasons. Yes.
I'm thinking I know why.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, brother. I
I'm
appreciate
thinking
it.
I'm not going to those places.
Yeah, exactly. Stay in the grass and the sidewalks and the lakes. You'll be fine. At least then you just have to worry about stupid people dressed up as clowns and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They need beatings.
Yeah, and I see stuff like this game cam pic. I look at the clown and I go, "You're in a car, run him over."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all of a sudden the clown doesn't seem that menacing anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to scale
Just
it.
a clown, door him when you go by.
Way to scale it down, Duke. We appreciate it, but thank you, brother.
Wow.
All right, you guys have a great night. We'll see you all soon.
Okay, see ya. Very cool.
Wow.
I'm just, my God. If there's things that big out there, Don, what the hell?
I live out 12 miles out of town, and town's not that very big to begin with.
Yeah, this town's pretty small.
And so, I'm out there, there's no lights out there. So, occasionally when I get home after a show or after work, sitting outside, enjoying the outside, maybe, taking a pee. And there is no
Thanks
more,
for sharing that.
there's-
That's paramount to your story, I'm sure.
It is. Because think about it. You're standing out there doing your thing, right? There's no lights. And then you hear a crunch.
Oh,
And you're like, burr?
deer?
Out there, Paisley was out there too. And she was talking about, she saw this 4-legged white thing with like a dog snout, and it was like a skinny white thing, and it was at night, she said. And so she said it was like 50 feet down her driveway. And so, like I said, I live out there. So what the hell am I thinking now? I'm like out there, all just kinds of vulnerable, going eating a plum, doing my business. It's like crunch. I think I'm done.
I think just use the bathroom is where I'm heading with this.
Oh man, come on! Gotta enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, well, I hear you, but the outdoors might enjoy you too, Don. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Sorry about that, Mr. Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh, take your foot. Sorry.
Didn't mean to pee on it. Hey, there's a plum tree over there.
Yeah.
Go have some plums.
Yeah. Wow. Very intense. I'm just thrilled we got to share it here. Thank you so much again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Okay, so I got a disturbing story next. And this is kind of the really dark side of things like exorcism, and I don't know. These are kind of hard to read because it's just, I don't know, being a dad and stuff. This is painful, but I think it's important. Arizona boy dead following attempted exorcism by father. A 6-year-old boy was pronounced dead September 26th after authorities responded to a report of a child burn on the Pascua Yaqui reservation near Tucson, Arizona, reported local news sources. According to court documents, the child's father, Pablo Martinez, told police officers that his son was demonic and had a demon inside of him. He admitted to the officers that he had poured hot water down his son's throat. Down his son's throat to reportedly help cast out the demon. Martinez's wife and his son's adopted mother, Romelia Martinez, told authorities that the child had been acting demonic. Martinez reportedly told police he saw something evil in his son and he needed to cast the demon out. He claimed that the boy had an unnatural fit of rage and that he noticed that the hot water was casting out the demon. Oh my God. The child was a student of Lynn Urquidez Elementary School, and according to school officials, had special needs.
Gosh.
I know. When police performed the sweep of the house, the child was found lying in bed, not clothed and propped up on a pillow. According to his adopted mother, his father had offered to give him and their other child a bath, but after noticing the other child leaving the bathroom crying, she heard a gurgling sound coming from the bathroom, and since then allegedly observed her husband holding the 6-year-old boy's head down under the bathtub faucet. When she told her husband to stop, he reportedly told her that he had to do it. Martinez would later tell police that they were not in the right mindset to understand what happened prior to surrendering, although he admitted to police that he had held his son's head under the water for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
Oh, dear God. After his wife called 911 rather, Martinez attempted to do cardiopulmonary resuscitation and poured cold water on the child, and the child was wrapped in a towel and taken by ambulance to Banner University Medical Center. He had burns over 15% of his body, including his forearms, elbows, and head. The 6-year-old boy, whose name was not released, was pronounced dead at the hospital a short time later. Oh, man. There's so much wrong.
How freaking hot was that water?
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on the water heater, but it was hot enough to burn him. That's so sad. Maybe I shouldn't have read that, but that's so horrible.
Wow.
It's so horrible. Wow. That poor child. I don't know. Everybody say a prayer for that kid. Hopefully everything's okay now for him. But man, what a horrible, horrible thing. Wow. You should never just
See, that just shows the ignorance that people really have when it comes to a lot of different pieces of religion and things like that. Just because you think you see something, you need to get a second opinion. You can't take this upon yourself to do.
Right. Well, I mean,
it doesn't matter how pious you think you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, at least, get the help of some kind of professional.
Well, and then they said,
I'm pretty sure the kid was not possessed by a demon. The father was just absolutely mental. Unfortunately, that the child paid the price for that, and that's just horrible.
Well, and then you read that he was a special needs kid,
Right.
and it's like, oh gosh, it couldn't be because of that, right?
Right.
I mean, because mental issues and certain physical issues are the work of the devil.
Right.
It's got to be.
Some people, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. All I can do is apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for reading that. I probably shouldn't have, but I needed to understand what it said, and I'm absolutely heartbroken to read that. That's just so wrong. I'm sure there's no excusing that. There's no reason for things like that to happen. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people broken people that have children, and my heart just aches for those people, those children especially. So,
all right. So, on a lighter note, MCAT, what's your YouTube channel name so I can post it in the chat?
What's that? Oh, the pictures?
Yeah. I've been looking for it. I can't find it. So, let's see here. This is a change of pace. No, thank you. Go away. I don't want your pop-unders and pop-ups. So it says, ex-Air Force officer describes 4 types of extraterrestrial beings the government knows about. And this came out in September of 19, or September 23rd, a week or so ago.
Uh-huh.
It says, in brief, facts. A former member of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, so OSI, Richard Doughty, tells all to researcher Dr. Stephen Greer, in a long interview. With the reality of this phenomena coming to light, how much disinformation has been spread by the powers that be, in air quotes, in order to twist the truth, and why. It says Richard Doughty is a retired Air Force special investigator, the AFSIO, and his job was to spread disinformation about the UFO subject during his time in the Air Force. Spreading disinformation about the reality of UFOs is no secret, and in Doughty's case, he admitted to infiltrating UFO circles along with his colleagues to feed ufologists and journalists lies and half-truths so that they would never understand any real truth. This is something I believe is occurring within the UFO community, multiple disinformation campaigns that are now perhaps more sophisticated as ever, as well as a number of frauds who are sharing their experiences, in air quotes, when they've really had not. In fact, it was decades ago when the very first director of the CIA, Roscoe Hillenkoetter, stated in the New York Times, "It is time for the truth to be brought out in open congressional hearings. Behind the scene, high-ranking Air Force officials are soberly concerned about UFOs, but through official secrecy and ridicule, citizens are led to believe the unknown flying objects are nonsense. To hide the facts, the U.S. Air Force has silenced its personnel. So put a gag on the air officers. Several astronauts have been quite outspoken about UFOs, like Apollo 14 astronaut Dr. Edgar Mitchell, and high-ranking military governmental personnel from around the world as well. On top of all this, the simple fact that many have had their own experiences has also sparked interest in the subject. There are also multiple videos that have been released by governments around the world as a couple came from the Pentagon over the past few years via the To the Stars Academy. That's Tom DeLonge's
Oh, right,
thing.
right. Yep.
So here's a picture that was released in 1960s by the Canadian Air Force. It's no secret that UFOs have been a topic of concern. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get through here. Let's get to the 4 types. So where does the extraterrestrial question come into play? It comes from hundreds, if not thousands of people like the ones mentioned above. Credible sources with verified backgrounds have alluded to the fact that these objects are indeed extraterrestrial, and that this can be verified. Yes, there have been crashed crafts and bodies recovered. That's a quote from Dr. Edgar Mitchell.
Oh.
Not long ago, a leaked document exposed notes taken by the legendary scientist Dr. Eric Davis during a meeting he had with Admiral Thomas Ray Wilson, the former director of Defense Intelligence Agency, regarding extraterrestrial spacecrafts. You can read more about that in the document. So there's a link to the document. Okay, here we go. So, according to Doty, there are 4 types of craft that they show us, 4 types of extraterrestrials, and they never explained to us where they got the pictures of the extraterrestrials, but they were actual pictures of these weird-looking creatures that showed on the film that were extraterrestrials from some other location different from where the Ebens came from. Eben.
That's
Linda Moulton Howe.
extraterrestrial biological entities.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the N stands for some reason.
Maybe it's just entity. EN is entity. Maybe.
Well, I've always heard them called EBEs. So
right.
extraterrestrial being, gosh, why? Anyhow,
Biological entity.
yes, extraterrestrial biological entities. Yes.
Yes.
One was looking like an insect, had huge eyes, a very large head, a small body. They had 2 different appendages on their arms. They had basically 2 hands on each arm. They had several joints in their legs, and they had a bubble-type appendage in the front and a lump or something in the back that was on one of them. They were about the size of an average human. The second one was a very tall thing, very, very thin humanoid that had long arms. Arms reached probably to its knees. They had regular hands. Their faces were very, very thin. They were almost human-looking unless you really, really studied them and got real close. They didn't have any hair and eyes like cats. Then there was the third creature. Looked something like the Eben, but it was bigger. It had a bigger body. I found out later in a briefing that I had in 1995 that was a genetically engineered creature that the Ebens made. They knew it was genetically engineered, and I don't know how. They didn't ever tell us how. Okay. The Ebens, which stands for Extraterrestrial Biological Entities, so yeah, it's just the EN of entities, Doty describes as about 4 foot tall, and that they didn't appear to have any eyes. They had an indentation for the nose. They didn't appear to have ears. They had an indentation for the nose. They had very big eyes. They had very tight-fitting suits. Almost looked like they were nude, but they actually had a very thin but tight-fitting suit on. No thumbs, just 4 fingers. suction devices on the tips of their fingers, and one of them had a head apparatus on, maybe a helmet or some kind of an earphone or some type of device that they were communicating with the craft or with someone else. And they had found a number of different objects in the craft. They had a piece of what they thought was plexiglass that they kept for years before they figured out that it was an energy device for the craft. Doty goes on to explain that multiple crafts...
Sorry, I meant to mute myself.
Wrong one. I was like, what'd I do now?
I was going to cough.
Doty goes on to explain that multiple crafts have been shown to use zero-point energy, meaning that they found a way to extract energy from the vacuum of space.
Wow.
Dr. Jack Kasher, PhD, a professor emeritus of physics at the University of Nebraska, once expressed, there is another way, whether it's wormholes or warping space. There's got to be a way to generate energy so that you can pull it out of the vacuum. And the fact that they're here shows us that they found a way. So all interesting.
Indeed. Very wild.
And it does go in to talk about, Paul Hellyer, the Canadian Minister of National Defense during the 60s, talked about more. So this is very, very interesting.
Very.
Oh. Lynn Buchanan, one of the Stargate Army remote viewers, claims, as multiple others within the program have, that he was tasked with finding information on extraterrestrial groups that were or are visiting the planet. So, wow. Yeah, it even references Alejandro Rojas, very well-known researcher and documenter. So, yeah, this is rather long. I'm not going to go back into that, but the 4 different types, the Ebens, which we've heard about in passing. I believe I'm sure we've brought up the idea that there was a type that looked nude, but they were wearing some sort of suit. Was it Don
Schmidt?
Don Schmidt that was talking about that?
I don't remember. He was mostly talking about the crash, but maybe.
I can't remember, but I remember we talked about that before, or it got brought up somehow.
Right.
But the insect with huge eyes, large head, and a small body, 2 different appendages on their arms, and 2 hands on each arm, several joints. Wow. So would that be the mantis that people have talked about before?
I don't know. That's curious. It kind of sounds like it could. With that many joints.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Very strange stuff, though.
Very, very.
The world is wide open. All right. Did you have more, or was that it?
Oh, that was it for that
Okay.
one. Because it just keeps going and going and going. But thought I'd share that information. So,
yeah, that sounds really cool. Now I got something here about some law enforcement stories.
Oh, nice.
I like these because of course, law enforcement are trained observers. They are part of their job is to be able to effectively, and nobody's perfect, of course. Everybody can make mistakes, but they should be able to effectively observe and report on what they see because it's a big part of their job. So they have to do a lot of it.
Change the scene.
Oh, why? You don't want to just be you? I like the Don Show. Everybody loves the beard, but you'll have to get some of Merkel's beard oil.
No.
And then some manscaping cooking as well.
No. God, could you imagine being trapped between those two?
Oh, I bet you you'd smell good, but you'd see your chin.
Probably see the crown of my head too.
Hi, Christy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Wootini.
Awesome. Wootini. Yeah, the Jawas. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about is Wes.
I haven't heard the new one.
No, I haven't either. I feel bad because I haven't actually listened.
I wonder
to
if
it
we can play it. Can we play it?
Can we rebroadcast your show, Wes?
No, just that one. Oh, we can. Well,
I don't know where it is in the show, but we'd have to review it first. But because I don't want to, obviously just make.
He says yes.
He says yes. Let's see if I can pull this up. I don't know. Let's see. I should pull up the Star Wars one first, because that one kills me. It's just so awesome. All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna pull this up. Where is it? Where about what time mark would the new one be, Wes? Let me know about what part of the about.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on there.
Okay, so let me load
That's
up
freaking
Sasquatch Chronicles. Since we obviously have permission.
Oh, he sent it. How'd you send it? Did you send an email or IM?
Oh no, it's in here. Okay, I see it. All right, so it's right here.
Nice job, sir.
All right, let's see what this one is. You all ready for?
You all ready for this?
This is the creative genius of Wes Germer.
Mr. Wes Germer.
Ready? Let me see if I can get it to play. Maybe I got to save it. Do I got to save it first?
No, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to. Well, maybe you do.
Maybe I do. I'll just call this man. No, it's trying to save a web page. I don't want to do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
I'll try to get it to play, but it's being funny. No? What happened?
Oh,
it is downloading. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
There it is. Now it's downloaded. Let me play this for your listening pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Wes Germer and his manscaping.
I can't even. Let me mute this.
The elusive beast. I've searched everywhere for this creature. From the top of mountains to the deep forests of the Pacific Northwest. Witnesses describe him as a half man, half ape. Very hairy. He stinks, and some witnesses say he's the ugliest thing they've ever seen. I don't plan on shooting him. I plan on shaving him. And for you hippies out there, don't you worry about your forest brother. I plan on using Manscaped's Lawnmower 2.0. It has proprietary skin-safe technology, but I will keep it above the belt. One day along my journey, I heard the creature. Witnesses have often described it as a mumbling. It sounds like someone talking, but you can't make out the words. That's what I heard.
Welcome to the show, everybody. You're listening to The Confessionals. I am your host, Tony Merkel. Thank you for being here. If you've had an encounter or a story you'd like to share with me on the show, shoot me an email. My email address is theconfessionalspodcast@gmail.com. That's theconfessionalspodcast@gmail.com.
The creature was much uglier than I thought, but I couldn't let it go. I thought to myself, this is my chance. We'll shave that beard.
Choice.
Want to act like an animal? I'm going to treat you like one.
Dude, what are you doing? Dude, Wes, get away from me. No, man, what are you doing? Don't touch my beard. Dude, I have beard oil to sell next Tuesday. Get off my beard. Wes, no. No, Wes, no, Wes, stop. Please stop.
Support for Sasquatch Chronicles comes from Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. And for this filthy animal, I kept it above the belt. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Check out the Manscaped redesigned electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary skin-safe technology. And I actually really dig the trimmer. I use it for my head and actually for my beard. I know that's not what you're supposed to use it for, but it's great for shaving your head. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Sasquatch at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use the promo code Sasquatch. And for the ladies listening, if you're looking for a gift for your man, they actually have some really cool stuff. As I mentioned last week, I really dig the cologne. It doesn't have a perfume type smell. It has kind of a manly man smell. And they have body wash. They have all kinds of cool stuff.
That's awesome.
If you get a chance, check them out. Manscaped.com. Don't forget to use the promo code Sasquatch. Thank you again to Manscaped for sponsoring the show.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh god, that was a great song to use too. "Sabotage" by the Beastie Boys. Right on, Wes.
That is hilarious. Oh my God.
Friggin' Merkel. Hey, Wes, what are you doing? I gotta sell my beard crap next week.
This was so funny. He managed to drop his beard promotion in there too.
Yeah. And his email address.
That was So it was a big cross promotion here on the Paranormal Portal tonight. So. That is just gold.
Oh God.
And you heard it maybe second here. You might have probably already heard it on the Sasquatch Chronicles, but obviously there's a lot going on over there on the Sasquatch Chronicles. If you haven't listened to it quite yet, you probably should get over there because it's not only a great show, but obviously it's a lot of fun.
Do you need a napkin? Wipe that off.
That's one thing, yeah. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. Thanks, Wes, for letting us play that. I'll probably get a copyright strike for the Beastie Boys, but oh well, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Oh God.
So funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Poor Tony.
Yeah. You know, he put out this a post that he did, and it's got a picture of him, doing his thing, his finger thing,
Yeah.
and then he's got the alien and the dog man.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, that is one smooth forehead he's got. Makes me want to rub it.
Oh, hey, family show there.
Here's what that oil's for, Tony.
Don. No, don't. Just don't. Again, ever. All right. So
That's called a moose knuckle.
to do on Mando. Oh, that is so funny. Which one is this one? Oh, this one might be the Star Wars one.
Was that the Star Wars one?
I don't know.
Houdini!
Let's see. Let's hear it. Want to hear it? Here, go.
Here we go. Do it all tonight.
Oh, this one's different.
I've seen some bad things in my life. Blood, hair. I've talked to men who were in shambles. Somebody once wrote, "Hell is the impossibility of reason." That's what this place feels like. Hell. I've tried all the professional clippers, and the result is the same every time. Pain. I've lost all hope. What is this? A new hope. Support for Sasquatch Chronicles comes from Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. Manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past. Always use the right tools for the job. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Sasquatch at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use the code Sasquatch. Manscaped.com has some really cool grooming items on there. I really dig the cologne. If you get a chance, check them out.
Yeah, okay.
I want to thank manscaped.com for sponsoring the show.
Good God.
Freaking Jawa. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight's Paranormal Portal is brought to you by Sasquatch Chronicles.
Oh man,
That is so funny.
oh, that was a great mid show interlude.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Obviously, you got a little knack for this, Wes. I think
think?
if the whole Sasquatch Chronicles thing doesn't work out, you can always start an ad agency.
There you go. I do voiceovers.
Oh man, that's just all brilliant. No, I mean he like totally comes up with the whole theme and everything. It's like a full production, not just a voice.
Oh boy.
The man's more than a voice, ladies and gentlemen. But really, it's so funny. I love the Merkel one. That kills me. That's awesome.
I know.
Oh, just the visuals that come with it is just hilarious.
Can you see Wes holding him down like this?
Just a look of determination on his
He's
face.
got a boot on his head.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh,
so,
my
well, thanks for letting us air those tonight. That was a lot of fun. Great midway point of the show for sure.
Wow.
So I got some stories now to go over with.
Well, thank God we can get back to our show.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hilarious. I love good humor. So these are stories that are from allegedly law enforcement encounters with seriously paranormal activity. So we're gonna cover these. Sorry, I got to pull myself back together. All right. It says, myself and a buddy on my squad responded to an alarm. The incident location was an old office-type building that had been converted to a doctor's offices. There was a pharmacy attached to it, and our dispatcher received a motion signal from the upstairs office. Key holder arrives on scene, and we go in to secure the building. The stairs were locked behind a door that, of course, the key holder didn't have the keys to, so we took the elevator up to the second floor. Not the most tactically sound option, I know. Elevator opens to a pitch black hallway, except one overhead light at the end of the hall. So we start checking doors, and so far all are secured. We get to the last office, and sure enough, the door is unlocked. We make entry and observe it to be an unused office, and the door opened to a sizable waiting room and reception area. And there are about 10 to 12 exam rooms, all cleared with no hiccups. We exit the office immediately something seems off. And that's when we realize the overhead light at our end of the hallway that had been on was now off, replaced by another light over by the elevators. Well, I look at my squad mate, and he's completely white. I ask him what's wrong, and he says, weren't all those doors we just checked closed and locked? I tell him, yeah. So Buddy says, well, now they're all standing open. Sure enough, all of the offices down the hallway we had just checked were now all standing open. It says pucker factor sinks in at this point. And so we start clearing offices and securing offices, and we finish the last office. And on our way out, just before we turn the corner to get to the waiting area, the main door just slams shut. And then our radios start going nuts and some kind of static feedback. And now I just want to get the hell out of there. We get back in the elevator and head down to the first floor to make contact with the key holder again. However, the key holder is nowhere to be found. Well, I contact dispatch and request a callback number for the key holder so I can advise him on what we found. Dispatch states that the key holder was still en route to us and was advised an ETA of 5 minutes. I advised dispatch that we had already been out with the key holder. Dispatch requests I give them a call. I call the dispatch, and she tells me there's no way we were out with the key holder. She states that the alarm company had only just made contact with one. And eventually the real key holder arrives on scene, and I asked her about the man that had let us into the building, the first key holder. She asked me to describe him, and so I did. Ooh. And she states that that sounds like one of the doctors that used to lease the office on the second floor at the end of the hall. She then states that he committed suicide at his summer home several days ago. I still won't go back there.
Wow.
Oh, man, that's a lot of creepy stuff going on there. So not only are they experiencing haunting experience when they're clearing the building, but then they found out that the person that let them in the first place
was
a haunting as well.
Wow.
That's pretty intense.
MCAT asks, is that the keymaster of Gozer?
Yeah, that's of Gozer. Yeah, exactly. No Sigourney Weaver in this one.
Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go blow my nose. Those commercials loosened me up. I'll be right back.
Don will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go to 100% Brent cam at this point. So the next one is called An Abandoned Hospital. Let me check. Nope, no calls. See, it's nice now. I got all my monitors. I can see everything at a glance, including the call board, which I'll have to remember to look at once in a while. So a few years back, to Sworn Leo, L-E-O, law enforcement officer. Okay. I worked as a security guard at a hospital. Sounds cool. And it was, except for the fact that it was the 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Well, I worked alone at the hospital, It says I guarded. Oh, okay. I worked alone, and the hospital I guarded was abandoned. A year prior, the hospital built a brand new facility to replace their 5-story tall 1900s building. When the employees and patients left, they left everything in place, and it looked like the people just disappeared in a hurry. Partially full coffee mugs, uniforms hanging on coat racks, wheelchairs in the hallways, everything as it was, with a good coating of dust. It was always a third shift. I was always a third shift kind of person. I don't get night jitters or scare easily, but this place could do it to the best of them. Every night I would walk or ride a wheelchair through the halls that were supposed to be empty, unused, and every night I would end up having to close doors and relock them. I would walk one floor, move to the next, and continue on. I got a little shaky when an hour after already walking a hallway, I would have to turn off the same hall lights and close the same doors again in the building. Or when I'd be walking a hall and I would hear footsteps on the floor above me. Doors opening and closing, elevators moving from floor to floor, phones ringing, nurse call lights going on, etc. There were only 3 times when I got the I hate this crap feeling. First time, I was checking offices on the 4th floor. There was a light on in a locked hallway, no surprise. This hallway hadn't been renovated since the place was built, short of electricity, so everything was from the 1920s. I unlocked the door, flipped the lights, walk out, relock the door, and turn to leave. Behind me, I hear the flip of a light switch. Through the frosted glass, I see that the lights went back on. I left the hallway alone that night. Second time was riding an elevator between floors. I was taking the elevator to the top floor when at about number 4 or number 5 floors, I hear laughing and muffled talking. It kept getting louder as it got higher. Elevator makes it to number 5, doors swing open, and absolute silence. Of course, every light was on the floor, in the patient rooms, and I checked high and low. Not a single living and breathing person was in that place except for me. The third was the worst of all. It was just an average night. I'm on the lower level, locking a door in a corridor. The door had a glass middle, but on the backside it was covered by white tape. The room it led to was dark, and the hallway a few feet behind me was partially lit, so the glass acted like a perfect mirror. Everything normal, key in, lock clicks, turn the key, and when behind me, I see a full outline of a person walk past me in the hallway. Clear as day, just a full shadow of a person walk past. Well, I froze for only about a second, and then ran into the hall after the supposed person. But no one, just silence. Awesome gig, but after a year, it felt like I should have been an exorcist with all this stuff happening. The other guards that worked on the days opposite to mine had the same stuff happen, except they always saw nuns walking into rooms just outside of an old rectory chapel on the 3rd floor. Better nuns than something else, I guess. Wow. Here's another one. It says, when I was a municipal cop, I was sent to a missing person runaway juvenile call, and the town I worked with was inner city and poor, but it was one of the better streets in town, and the family was squared away, and the husband and wife were both educators. And while I was taking the report of their runaway teenage daughter in the family's living room, an older daughter who was in the room pointed towards a hallway and yelled, "Grandma!" The husband ran into the hallway and yelling, "Mama!" The husband returned to the living room and asked, "Officer, did you see her? Did you see my mother?" I told him that I hadn't. and asked him why it was so remarkable that his mom had walked down the hallway. The husband replied, "She died last year. We see her walking around the house all the time." I took the rest of the report while standing in the front porch. He's like, nope. I can't blame him. That'd be a little creepy. Next one is, I worked for a tribal police department as well, and believe me, the spirits here can get to you. There's a section of Florida road between Dade and Collier counties known as Western Camps. Dade Collier Airport is located here. Anyway, I'm on the midnight shift. I was patrolling the area and walked and called the area check. My radio worked absolutely fine, and just then, that commercial for the movie Fourth Kind played in my FM radio.
Oh.
I immediately became spooked. A couple of miles down the road, I called another check and got nothing but loud static. Since I was near the end of my check, I decided to turn around, and when I did, I froze. Tons and tons of eyes staring at me from the water, in the trees and on the road, and I couldn't tell whether they were alligators or whatnot, but I flew back east to familiar territory. Another officer who works with us said he was doing the same check and heard someone knock on the back window of his patrol car. While he was stopped, he stepped out of the vehicle with his weapon drawn, but saw nobody. I hate going out there. So another one is, my old partner told me this one, so I hope you enjoy it. Back in '87, an A7 Corsair crashed into the Ramada here in Indianapolis. The story was there was a Boy Scout troop staying in the hotel. One of the boys placed a call to his parents after the crash and said, "Dad, tell Mom I'm fine. Everything is all right. Don't worry." And the line was disconnected. The parents were already watching the news and saw what was happening and drove to Indy to get their son. And when they arrived, the chaplain from the Wayne Fire broke the bad news that their son was killed in the crash. The father said there's no way because he spoke to his son after the crash on the phone. The chaplain explained that their son was found in the lobby where the majority of the damage and fire took place.
Wow.
He was found by the payphones. Later, it was determined that a call came from a lobby phone 20 minutes after the plane struck the building.
Oh.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Ugh. How do you like that, Don?
So the plane crashed, but he made the call after the plane crashed, obviously.
Well,
or the call was made after the plane crashed.
Yeah, his spirit made the call.
Yeah.
Because he was apparently killed on impact.
Wow. Wow. That's kind of cool.
It
It's
is
sad, but kind of really sad, but kind of cool. Yeah.
Right. Like if you had to let go of your child, at least to have that one last phone call, I would think would be something to hang on to, you know? Like, he's okay. Because that's what he said, he's okay.
Right, right.
So whatever experience he's in, it's not a bad one. I don't know. That'd be a tough one for sure.
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
The shadow man, that's a phenomenon that comes up often. A lot of people see shadow people, shadow men. Sometimes they look like they're old Western dressed, but they're all shadowy. There's no light to them at all. They're just dark. So let's see what this one is. I was sitting at the flat of a hill. In the flat of a hill. What is the flat of a hill, Don?
Maybe a butte?
Maybe.
A royal? A flat
Maybe
hilltop? Mesa? A
Yeah,
mesa.
maybe it's a plateau of some kind.
Yeah, plateau.
Okay. Monitoring traffic, and I was down. It was about 2 or 3 a.m. where I was sitting. It's a well-known spot for unsolved murder victim who was found about 26 years ago. No other officers would sit here, even though citizens are constantly doing 15 or 20 miles over the limit in the area. Well, I was sitting there and I saw a shadow cross the back of my unit. Coming from the passenger side, almost immediately afterwards, the shadow came up the driver's side of my unit and then across the front. Mind you, it's completely dark in this area, and the only lighting around me is from the moon. Thinking the worst, I turn on all my lights and to light up the area to see if I can see who or what is around me. But there's nothing there. I figured it was time to leave that area. Once I got to a lighted area, I stopped and realized that my camera was recording from where I hit my emergency lights. I reviewed the footage, and you can see where a figure starts from the driver's front of my unit, and then for about half a second, the entire camera goes black, as if someone put their finger over the lens. Then it goes back to normal. Needless to say, I haven't sat back in that spot yet.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that would be enough to keep you from sitting there. It would for me. All right, the next one. The haunted church, Don.
Haunted churches.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
it's kind of wild. You think that churches would be like the last place to be haunted because, they're supposed to be places of worship and holy things, but I don't know. They still seem to attract hauntings just like everywhere else. I used to work for a private police security firm as a patrol supervisor. On one of my patrol routes, we had a huge church that was also a private daycare and kindergarten. It was my responsibility to clear and secure the building every night between 3 and 4 a.m. due to recent instances of doors being found left open in the morning. In the early 1900s, the building was a schoolhouse, and supposedly a fire killed several children trapped inside. Aww. I didn't know any of this prior to working for the company, and I only lasted about a week on this route prior to requesting that the church be moved to earlier in the shift. Several extremely creepy things happened while assigned to the church. The first night there, I had just walked down the very long main classroom hallway to clear all of the rooms when I turned around to walk back up the hallway, and there was a red balloon floating in the middle of the hallway.
Oh.
That was definitely not there prior. In the old pastor's office, there was a lamp shaped like a lighthouse. It sat on a table in a large window, and when I would pull up to the church, the lamp would be the first thing I would see in the office window. It was always turned on. However, when I would go check and lock the pastor's office from the inside, the lamp would always be off. When I'd get back into the car to leave, the light would be back on again. One weekend, the church was having a bake sale, and the kitchen was full of plates and cookies and brownies, and there had been a note left on the door telling us, security, that we could help ourselves to anything in the kitchen within reason. I cleared the kitchen and noticed a large plate of chocolate chip cookies. I continued past the plate to clear the rest of the kitchen, and when I went back to the plate of cookies, there were only 3 left, where there had once been at least a dozen or more. I also had the unusual phenomena of previously closed and locked doors being found open just the seconds after closing and locking them. Another officer that filled in for me one evening quit the very next day because he reported that he was checking the main chapel and the pipe organ started playing itself. That's creepy, huh? Right? Don?
I'm sorry, we were dealing with an issue in chat.
Everything okay?
Yeah, Duke did a great job.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. So sorry, I only caught part of that.
Oh.
I caught the red balloon floating. Oh, am I way back? Am I behind one already?
Yeah, no, you're kind of way back there. That's okay. Welcome back, Don.
Hi, how are you?
The next one is there's a water tower issue.
Oh.
It's been a while, but I only have one. Got a call for an alarm, a new water tower they were building. Alarm company also has cameras on the site, so when the alarm activated, so did the cameras. The alarm company advised that there were 2 teenagers observed going under a sign. And I was already in the area, so I was on scene really quickly, and the alarm company stayed online and said that they had not passed the camera again. A few more units got there, and we were checking the site for this sign. Well, we find it, but it's not a sign. It's a piece of construction equipment. And when you go under the sign, it leads to only one place, the entrance to the water tower. So we go inside and immediately hear people talking. We shine our lights towards the next landing, and it stops. So we're given commands and all that, but there's no response. We are considering climbing up there, but the ladder is being held on by a carabiner, and we can't figure out their harness system. We call one of the workers, so it takes him a bit to get there, and we're sitting there BSing inside the tower because it's cold, and decide to turn our lights off. After a minute, the talking resumes, along with what sounds like someone walking or shuffling around, so we shine a light up, and it stops. We do this 3 or 4 times, and it's the same thing. Guy finally gets there and goes up the ladder, checks that level, the next level, and then an actual bowl, but there's no one up there. Wow. I just had a discussion today. Now, this is a new construction they're talking about. I had a discussion today with a listener, more of a comment back and forth, but it was on one of our YouTube videos, and the person said, I believe that some spirits can just travel. They don't have to be stuck to a place, and I agree with that. That's a situation that I've believed for a long time, because we always get these stories of my house was never haunted. I never had any experiences, but then one day something happened and some weird stuff happened, and then after that it was over. So it's like these one-off things that kind of happen,
Right.
and then they're done, and it's kind of weird. But it would seem to suggest that there are just some transient spirits that can wander around, and I'll bet, in this situation, these two apparently teenage spirits were just wandering through.
Right. Well, and you've had that feeling that's happened through the studio before too.
Yeah, I think
so
I don't think a lot of what happens when weird things happen, I don't know if it's just a transient thing, like something comes and. But then I'm saging a lot too. So like I'm always cleansing, because I figure if we talk about this stuff all the time,
Right.
then there's a chance that we could be drawing it in here. So my job is to keep kicking it out, because I actually live here too.
Yeah, it's kind of an inconvenience, yeah.
Right. So this one sounds like a positive one. A traffic guy at my agency was catching up to a DUI suspect. No lights or sirens. The suspect was easily 300 to 400 yards ahead at about 3:30 in the morning on a really long stretch of semi-rural road. The left side of the street was lit by streetlights, and the right side was dark. Both cars were moving fast, about 80 miles per hour or so. His dash cam video showed the suspect vehicle lose something from its rear, and it turned out that the suspect's rear bumper, after the bumper stopped tumbling, the video showed a black figure dart into the roadway from the left side, lit by the streetlights, pick up or move the bumper, and then dart to the right side of the roadway where it was dark. The video showed nothing on the right side of the roadway when the officer drove by the area.
Wow.
The officer did not see this occur at the time, but instead, when he reviewed his video in the car to find out where the suspect lost his bumper. The dark figure had no reflective clothing on, as most joggers, dog walkers do in the area, and was definitely in the right place at the right time, as the officer most likely would have hit the bumper due to his speed and possibly crash. So, is that a guardian angel?
Well, that's certainly weird. Maybe a good Samaritan. Who knows? I mean, but it ran in front of the cop car while it's going down the road.
80 miles an hour, Don. So the two cars are going 80 miles an hour.
Right.
The DUI suspect is 300 or 400 yards ahead.
Right.
The cop is approaching, but
Wow.
And as he's driving, suddenly sees this bumper coming, off the car, or came off the car at some point.
And something went.
And something shot out, grabbed the bumper, and then shot off. And it looked like the figure of a person, but obviously moving much, much, much too fast to be a person.
Apparently so, yeah, because 300 yards at 80 miles an hour is not a big.
No, that's not a big spread.
No, not at all.
That's, I don't know, a second maybe, or 2 or 3, but not much. So, I got one left on this list, Don. So
Cool.
Let me read this one. It says, I wasn't present for this, but I heard this from coworkers. It was the second week of April a few years ago, around 2 a.m. A young junior female officer was coming off shift and walking to the locker rooms past an empty admin area. At that time of night, the officer is all cleared out and can be kind of eerie. She saw an older male officer standing there that she didn't know, and she said hello as she walked by. He ignored her, and when she looked back over her shoulder, he was gone. Of course, she was creeped out, but told herself she was just really tired and was probably imagining things. A couple days went by, and she saw a picture of the same officer she had seen that night posted on the wall of fallen officers. The officer had killed himself with his service weapon a couple of years earlier during the second week of April, and he used to have a desk near where she saw him. I don't know him very well, as we have a large department, and we didn't work in the same areas. In all my dealings with him, he was very talented and skilled at his job and had a clear passion for it. It was truly a big loss. There's another one watching over us. Wow. That's really tragic, though, yeah. Oy.
Yeah. How weird.
Very weird.
I just realized what Weird Desk is talking about.
Oh, what is Weird Desk talking
We
about?
keep saying the word weird.
It is weird. The paranormal is weird. It's going to come up a lot.
She also says that people who like this video don't get abducted by aliens.
Well, that's probably a good thing. So everybody hurry up and like, because we don't want to be held responsible for any abductions that may occur.
We're gonna send owls your way.
Owls.
That one there. That one.
The reference for that is in the
podcast we did the other night.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the podcast we did the other night of people having these odd memories of seeing owls. And
that was just today. That was just last night.
it just aired.
It aired today, yeah.
Yeah. But we recorded it.
Yeah, so go check it out.
Right, but these people are like in The Fourth Kind, the movie The Fourth Kind.
Right.
People are seeing these owls, and it seems to be some kind of weird, implanted memory or something, perhaps, to cover the abduction or whatever. And then through regression, people realize that the owl was just a representation for what they perceive as these grays, perhaps. And so maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I don't claim to know a lot about that kind of stuff. And it's all speculation for me, of course. I don't know much of anything. I mean, I've seen one, but that was the extent of my experience, is just seeing. What is that, the third kind when you just see them, or is that the second kind, or what is it? I don't understand those kinds.
Well, okay. They're very, very clear, but let me pull it up just for reference.
Okay. We're going to get some clarification on these kinds, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to represent the facts as well as we can here on the show.
All right, so let's do this. So the first thing that came up, of course, was the movie. And there's actually 5 if you follow Dr. Greer's stuff. And of course,
really?
Well, yeah, because a CE5 is calling them, and we'll have to get to that.
Okay.
Close encounter event. Okay. So let's see here, because I don't want to be wrong as much as I want to be right. All right. So a close encounter of the first kind is a visual sighting of a UFO, seemingly less than 500 feet away, that show an appreciable angular extension or considerable detail. A close encounter of the second kind is a UFO event in which a physical effect is alleged. This can be interference from a functioning of a vehicle or electronic devices, animals reacting, psychological effects such as paralysis or heat or discomfort in the witness, or some physical trace like impressions on the ground, scorched or otherwise affected vegetation, or a chemical trace. A close encounter of a third kind is UFO encounter which an animated creature is present in these. These include humanoids, robots, and humans who seem to be occupants of a UFO. So that's actually them being on the ground and you witnessing them being there.
That's which kind?
That's the third kind.
Third
Third kind, yeah.
Okay.
And then close encounters of a fourth kind is actually an abduction.
Oh, okay. Okay, so when you're actually taking, that's a fourth kind. Seeing them on the ground with people is the third kind.
Right.
Seeing a craft is which one?
Second. Or
Second.
first.
First. So what was 2? I missed 2.
Second kind is like crop circles and things like that, or physical effects like when Travis Walton was talking about how he felt, the physical effects that Travis Walton felt about that. That was the second kind.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then real quick, there is a quick thing here, and a close encounter of a fifth kind. A UFO event that involves direct communication between aliens and humans. This type of close encounter was named by Stephen Greer of CSETI group and is described as a bilateral contact experience through consciousness, voluntary and proactive human-initiated cooperative communication with an extraterrestrial intelligence.
Huh. Okay. Well,
So there you go.
is that, I don't know Stephen Greer at all, and I don't know much about it. I understand that he does a lot of really expensive outings in the desert
Right.
and stuff. And is it possible they're in contact with something? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my head around, but I wonder if he created that just so he could
Well,
classify what they're doing.
let me kick you another one.
Okay.
It goes on to say close encounter of the sixth kind.
Okay.
Death of a human or animal associated with a UFO sighting, although some might consider this as more of a severe example of a close encounter of the second kind. How about this one? We talked about this one the other day too.
What's that?
Close encounters of the seventh kind.
7 kinds now?
So apparently
Okay.
there are. The creation of a human-alien hybrid,
Oh.
either by sexual reproduction or by artificial scientific methods.
Now that's, wow. Why would they call that a close encounter at all? That doesn't even seem.
That's very close. That's more intrusive and
That's like encounter. That's not even close anymore. That's just encounter. I don't know. That's, and we covered the hybrids on our last podcast, and I thought that was really interesting.
It was, yeah.
We, in the course of the podcast, of course, we covered many different takes on this whole hybrid theory.
Right.
And I don't know what that means. Does it mean that some of them are just full of it and some, or all of them are? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think of all that stuff. I don't know what it could mean. I don't know. The thing is that we had stories covering from, well, my spirit is from some other star system and I came here to help the world, to one guy claiming he was born in a petri dish, basically, by experiments being done by aliens. Another person claimed that they were manipulated, and so we're kind of a hybrid in that sense.
Right.
And the list goes on and on and on. Very interesting nonetheless, and I'm not meaning to cast any aspersions at anybody. I just don't know, and I don't know that it's possible to really know, but some of it just gets so far out there. It's like, well,
Yeah.
how do you know your spirit's from a different galaxy, and that what you're saying is actually grounded in fact? Or would it be more likely that you're just really confused about stuff? I don't know. And I don't ever like to take the skeptic route, because it's not what the show is about, is debunking stuff. But I think you have to consider all possibilities, I guess.
It's funny that you went that way, because I'm going to go this way.
Okay.
So how would you know if you're a spirit from the sky, or a starseed, an indigo child, things like that? But how would you also know that, astro traveling is factual? And how would you know that, how would you know that, relatives are trying to get a hold of you through psychic means, or ghosts are actually manifesting? So how do you know that that's the way it truly is? So let me throw that wrench at you.
Okay, Wes is saying the story of Rachel's eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Mention that.
The story of Rachel's eyes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I don't know what this is. Rachel's eyes.
I got a thing for brown-eyed girls.
Okay.
That's actually, I take that back. So what do you say about that there, Mr. Brent?
About what?
Well, so we you postulated, how do you know that you're an alien spirit or something like that? Well, how do you know? I mean,
that's my confusion. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how somebody can make that
Gotcha.
claim. And I'm not trying to disparage that. I don't understand. If I suddenly thought that I was from some other star system, and just my soul was from another star system, it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's hard to wrap your head around, and it's hard for me because I come in a lot of things. I come at it not, I wouldn't say skeptical, but cautious, because there's so much crap out there when it comes to the paranormal,
Right.
and there's so many people selling so many narratives and even profiting off of a lot of different narratives, and I don't know, there's a lot of people that want to believe anything. You could tell them that, my toilet is actually a interstellar space vehicle, and every morning I go in there and send downloads to the mothership or whatever. I don't know.
Downloads to the mothership.
What I mean? And I tell you, if I were to post that in even feigned sincerity, there would be some people that'd be like, yeah, I totally get it. I think you're absolutely right.
Right.
And that to me is concerning.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think you can just, suspend logic so completely to embrace an idea. Now, I don't know that logic is always the answer, but I think you got to at least temper your willingness to jump onto some narrative. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
Yeah. Through the years, and you see this a lot in the New Age movement, that these people coming out with all these just incredibly fantastic claims, and they are willing to sell you these ideas that if you follow our plan for stuff, you can beat any disease, you can do anything, and maybe there is truth to that, but can you bet your life on it? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think that it's always good to at least temper that willingness to believe just with some educated critical thinking, I guess is where I'm at with it. Not that I'm outright saying no, these people are full of it, because I just can't know. I can't walk in their shoes. I can't see what they see or know what they know, but it's just from the outside looking in, it's hard to wrap your head around. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Does that make sense, Don?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
I was just throwing it out there, getting.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I think that it's important to question those kind of things and ask those questions. But I don't have any answers. Clearly, if you knew my life, you'd know that was true. I'm joking, but you know what I mean. It's just all I can do is just bring you the information out there, and you guys got to form your own opinions or ideas from it. The show will never be about telling you what to believe or what not to believe. It's just about discussing ideas of the paranormal. Right, Don?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think we're about there.
We are. Yeah. Let me just hit this real quick. So he mentioned Rachel's eyes. That's not it.
I know. I did a search for it, and I found all kinds of weird stuff. So
okay. So
like novels and stuff. So I didn't find the right stuff.
Okay, so Rachel's Eyes is a true story of Marissa's experience sharing an apartment with her unusual college roommate, as told by their mother, Helen Luttrell, and UFO investigator, Jean Bilodeau. Did you mention him the other night on the...
We've got some serious phone calls.
Wow.
We got one from, looks like Mississippi.
Yeah, it's Biloxi, yeah.
Okay. All right, area code 228, you're on the air.
Hi, Brent and Don. Great show tonight. We've got a great audience. I've been having fun in chat. Earlier, your two clips that that you aired, we were rolling on the floor laughing down in chat. And, I subliminally heard you tell me to call in, so I called in. And, y'all were just in the middle of a really deep conversation about how do you connect with a person. How do you really believe if someone's actually had a paranormal encounter or not? And as you were reading the last story, I once lived in a haunted house, and one of the bedrooms was seriously cold, even in the summer. It was seriously cold. Mm-hmm. And my stepson came to visit one day, and we had a hallway ghost. That we called them the hallway ghosts, and they were really creepy. We got really bad vibes from it. Mm. But it was a man, and he would walk from bedroom to bedroom in between the hallway. And one night, my stepson got up and came to me and said, "I'm not sleeping in that room anymore." there's a man and it's haunted, and there's ghosts in this room. Well, and I went on, and I had a child, and of course I had no place to put my baby but in that room. But I was very conscious of the hallway ghost from then on. And I would be sitting in my kitchen, and I had these French doors that had pane glass on them that separated the kitchen from the living room. And I would always see the images of a little boy's face and a little girl's face in the window pane. And it was just certain times of the day or night that I would notice that.
Wow.
And, messages kept coming to me that there was violent murders that went on in that house. So I kind of presumed that there were restless spirits. And a lady came to visit one time, and she told me of the family that used to live there, and she wondered what had really happened to them. And she said, they weren't really very nice people. And I started putting two and two together. And the more that I, and I absolutely hated living there. I didn't have any other place to live. I knew it was seriously haunted. What I deduced is that the bedroom itself had a portal. And that portal was connected to the restless spirits that were perhaps actually murdered in that home.
Ooh.
And I never investigated that, but it always stayed in the back of my mind. And I kept getting visions of what had actually happened to some of the people in that house. And it was just terribly unnerving.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be really profound. Wow. Ugh. So how long did this all go on for? Did it quit, or did you move, or what happened?
Well, I lived there. I lived there for almost 10 years, and it was ongoing.
Sure.
Okay, and yes, objects in the house would be picked up and placed other places in the house when you knew where you had left the object. Yes,
Sure.
it was in the last place you left it. No, it wasn't there. And yeah, it was freaky stuff would happen in that house.
Wow.
And it just got to where, basically, I started basically catching naps during the day and staying up most of the night.
Wow.
Because when the hallway ghost walked from room to room, you could literally feel an ice-cold draft.
Wow.
I mean, you felt evil persona. You felt that it was a very bad spirit.
Yeah,
But I thought I'd share. This is Bob Hazel.
Oh.
I know it's the end of your show. Great show, Brent and Don, as always. Big shout out to Bigfoot Odyssey
Yes.
and all the peeps that are in the Squatch community and all of your wonderful audience. You've got a great audience tonight. They've had a great time in chat tonight.
Oh, good. And thank you so much for being a part of the show, and thank you so much for sharing this story. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad everybody made it out okay.
Yeah.
Those are really creepy things.
Yes.
They're really scary things.
And by the way, a shout out to the Weird Desk US that's been down in your chat tonight.
Yep.
He was supposed to subliminally call in.
Well, thank you so much, Five Hazel. It's wonderful to finally hear you, and
Yes.
we're just thrilled that you're part of the family too. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks, guys. Be safe, be well.
We will.
All right, we'll
Thank
see
you,
ya.
and you as well.
Good night.
Cool. Well, now we have a voice to Five Hazel as well. That's awesome.
right.
Yeah.
I love that accent.
Yep.
That's so cool.
So wow, that's quite a story, huh?
That's really bizarre.
Wow.
I mean, those moving cold spots, that's just not logical. I mean, that's definitely a phenomena at that point, because cold spots, they generally are cold for a reason.
Right.
But they're usually stationary cold spots, you know.
Right, yeah.
If it's a roving cold spot, that's really creepy. And I'll bet you it's an EMF field as well. If she had an EMF meter, that's really wild. As soon as we're done, the phone
It turned off.
the phone line disconnected itself. Like the Skype just disconnected itself. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But we're still alive. Yeah, we're still
Yeah,
good.
it's just phone
Okay.
line went dead.
Yep.
Well,
Perfect
anyhow,
timing.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. That's the spirit saying, "Hey, the show is over," because my
You guys
Skype
are done.
it disconnected just perfectly, like on cue.
Right after she hung up, huh?
Yeah, well, no, just like just a few, like a moment after, as we was talking, all of a sudden, boom, it's disconnected. So that means that the other side is saying it's time to wrap it up. And being a good portal denizen, I must acquiesce. So
We must obey.
we must obey. So, Don, anything in closing?
No, just it's been a great night. Had fun being on Bigfoot Odyssey with you and Daniela, and having the guests there, Kevin
Yep.
Keeney.
Yep. Keeney.
That was an interesting story as well. I had a great time and chat with our people, of course. Thank you, Five Hazel. D, we'll have to get you next time. Sorry, it really did hang up. It was the weirdest thing.
She had hung up before that, though.
She did,
Yeah.
but
yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't even notice we had phone calls until
Yeah.
it was like, oh man, we got phone calls.
So-
So I'm not used to looking over here yet. It'll get better.
thanks to Wes for letting us
Yeah, thanks, Wes.
play
for,
that mid-show interlude.
You made our show extra hilarious tonight. We appreciate your creative works
And
in those
we'll-
manscaping commercials.
Yes, absolutely. And if Tony needs it again, I'm sure you'll get him.
And just tell Tony those things grow back. It's okay.
It may take a couple years.
Yeah, but it starts with a little shadow, and then next thing you know.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you. And I'll be back tomorrow with some bedtime stories. And then we'll do our Friday night show. And Don will be back on Saturday with me.
Right.
And be sure to check out the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they release everywhere that podcasts are, and you can find them on Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes. And if you enjoy the podcast, you like what you're hearing, head over to iTunes and leave us a good review, because that'll help iTunes promote us
That's right.
for other people to hear. So it would be a great thing if you would. But thank you all. We love you. And have a good night.
Good night.